My mom, who is currently a devout Jehovah's Witness, she used to say, you know what I had? I had the perfect day. And you know what her idea of a perfect day was? It was at any day that she got to see every one of her kids and actually face to face and really interact with them in a meaningful way. I remember sitting across from her in her kitchen. She's a homemaker Wonder Woman. She's awesome for that. I would sit next to her at her sewing machine. She loved the sewing. I loved the machine when I was a kid. And we'd have meaningful interaction, really close, positive interaction. And we became very good friends. And of course, that all ended when I left the organization, and she felt that the only way that she could possibly save me was to shun me. And it's horrible that the governing body managed to twist a mother and father. I know my dad feels the same way. Twist their love into obedience to the organization just so that they can maintain control over people. Absolutely despicable. I hate it. It's sad. My mom doesn't get to say, I had the perfect day anymore at all, unless something significantly changes. And I kind of doubt it will. I can't change because I've seen too much. I could never honestly go back to that organization. I just can't. I've seen too much. So this podcast has been called Difficult Childhood. And Fallon and I both mentioned many times that, hey, this isn't us blaming our parents. It's saying that life inside a cult makes childhood worse. It makes it more, it's hard enough growing up, even with very well-intentioned, loving parents like mine and hers. They did a lot of things wrong, but who the hell am I? I would do a lot of things wrong if I had kids. I would just make a whole different set of mistakes. But one thing that would be consistently better across the board is that I wouldn't raise my children inside a high control cult, because that umbrella, that cult control umbrella over a family, even if you have top-notch parents, makes everything worse. It drops. It makes things problematic. So this isn't an olive branch to my parents, but so that it's clear that I am not sitting here in my office complaining about my parents, I'm going to change this podcast to something completely different. So I want to say welcome to Best Life After. This is a podcast where we talk about leaving the organization, finding that path out of the organization, and finding a better life, a best life after. And I've been finding that we can expand this. Yes, Jehovah's Witnesses is kind of, it's my bread and butter because that's the one I know about. But if we expand it to other things like Mormonism and high control religions like Baha'i, so many other things like that. Any religion that tries to tell you that you're not good enough and you need to be redeemed somehow. Any religion that pushes you and makes you smaller, like I said. Even relationships. Maybe if you find yourself in a relationship where the other partner is controlling, and maybe you have children, it's a hard path. And I found that there are so many stories from ex-evangelicals, from ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, ex-Mormons, all this, and they all have this same common thread. But there are so many stories of people who found a better way. And in fact, I have we will also share stories from books that I've read. I read recently the autobiography of a man who was raised in the segregated South and then grew up and took control of his life, became a successful anesthesiologist and author, an amazing individual. And we'll get into that story. But all these stories just showed me that you can have a better life after, a best life after any type of thing that is trying to compress you and control you. That's going to be what we're going to be talking about, that journey of finding that best life. So if you are finding yourself in a high control situation and you're looking for stories of how people made their lives better, I'm going to be traveling, visiting different locations. It's not just going to be me here recording in my office. We're going to go to different locations and meet with different people and share different stories from all kinds of backgrounds. And they all have a common thread. I have quite a few already stacked up in the queue, and I'm so excited to share them with you. So welcome to this new podcast, idea, experiment, experience, the best life after. And I hope it's a space that you can share your story too. So that's coming up.